So welcome to the session of DevOps, and in this session we will try to understand what is a DevOps, then what are the different things we can achieve in the DevOps, what is the roles and responsibility of a DevOps engineer in real time, and what are the things you can go with the DevOps part.
Yeah, Sunil,
So
good morning. I have one question, Sunil.
yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, this is Giri. I'm having around 10 years experience in IT. Currently, I'm working as a senior quality analyst, one of the product-based company in Bangalore. I have one quick question. As a experienced guy, how we can able to sustain in the industry if you now we can enter, how we can able to grasp and how we can able to implement as a quality analyst?
Okay. Hi, Giri. Very good morning.
Yeah,
And
very
Giri has a question here that he is working in the QA from last 10 years. And his question is that how he can survive in the industry in the coming years. So, Giri, that's a good question. And this is a very common question which come across when the people start switching their current role to some other role. So basically, DevOps practices, which came into the industry in nearly like 2007, 2008. But there is a huge push from the companies which are in US, and now they don't want to hire individual users or individual admin who can do one specific task. And they want the admin to be having a multitasking person, and which is called as ambidextrous. So basically, that means you should have multiple skills to currently survive in the industry. Now, what is the DevOps? So basically, DevOps is the administration of the infrastructure, but in a automated way. That is in a different way. That means you will do the same kind of thing as an administrator, but with the different tool sets and with the different mindset. Now, when the question comes, if you jump from the quality engineer and you're working from last 10 years, definitely you can add value in the DevOps wagon, because when you go to the DevOps, you are not only touching the quality aspects, but you are touching various aspects. You have broader perspective of the particular application, particular tool, and a particular overall nature of the work. So definitely you can contribute in a much better way than as a fresher, because you have the experience, you know the industry, and you have the mindset where you work in the industry and you work along with that. If you choose the DevOps, then what are the things that you are supposed to do? Let me address that. So definitely it will address your questions that is the DevOps is the right choice for me, or is the DevOps is yet another something that is in the market. Okay, so let me cover what is the DevOps. Let me give you the brief insight of the DevOps. And once we have brief insight, definitely we will try to understand that as a QA person, when you are jumping to the other branch, is it worthwhile to go along with that? So Giri, give us a couple of moments. We will explain a couple of things, and then definitely I will address your
sure.
question.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. Any other question? Like Shirisha has some questions. Yeah, you can put the questions on the chat. That way it will help. Okay. So yeah, Shirisha has a question, and she's having a background of SAP, and she is going with the, I believe she is working in the programming background, and it has a different language in the SAP. So Shirisha, definitely it will help. But if you say that you have like 5 or 10 experience in the SAP, it will not consider as a DevOps experience. So you will be going to as a, like 1 or 2 years experienced person in the DevOps arena. Now, why I'm saying so, I want to be upfront. I want to be true with the stuff, and you can go along with that. But if you have the good knowledge of Java, then definitely this is a good starting point for you. And definitely you can be a good DevOps person. You can definitely be a good DevOps person because you know the development side, you know the programming aspects. So definitely it will help you to enter into the DevOps market. So definitely we need people who can understand the Java and stuff. But even if you don't have that knowledge, no problem, because the DevOps is a very versatile and very wide area. There are various branches in the DevOps: DevOps admin, DevOps QA, DevOps testing, DevOps development. So in the DevOps, there are a lot of fields are there. So it is not that DevOps is the one thing, but it is many things. So definitely, Sirisha, that you can jump into the DevOps wagon as you have understanding of the Java, core Java and stuff. Definitely, you can come to the market, and definitely you can go along with the as a DevOps admin. So hope that answer your question, Sirisha. Any other question we have? Okay. So if no questions, let me go and start about the DevOps, and then we will go along with the part there. So typically, let me introduce myself first. My name is Sunil, and I have 18 years of experience in the IT industry. From last 6 years, I am working as a DevOps practice head, and we are working on various projects governed by the DevOps technology. So with that brief background, let me start the session. Basically, what is a DevOps and why we want to choose the DevOps, who can attend the DevOps, and so we will address and we will try to address all these questions, and we will go along with that. So number one item, that hey, what is the DevOps part? What we can do as a DevOps engineers when it started. So let's go with a little bit history of the DevOps. So DevOps arena started nearly in 2007, 2008. So this is not a new thing. This is not a new thing. Let's me clarify first why I am saying it is not a new thing. Because we started working on the DevOps practices in 2007, 2008. At that point of time, we were starting to work on the different tools which are going for the automation part. So Puppet was the tool which was introduced nearly in 2005. And with that tool, we are trying to do the automation in industry. Now, automation is the number one choice of the industry. Anywhere you go to the mechanical industry, you should go to the electronic industry, you go to the car manufacturer, automobile manufacturer, chemical industry, medicine, and all the stuff. So automation is the part of the choice. Now, there are two sections here. One is the developer point of view, and one is the second side is the infrastructure. Now, for the experienced people, we know that what is meant by infrastructure. But for the people who are new, let me introduce what is the infrastructure. Infrastructure is nothing but it is a collection of all the servers in your premises or in your organization. That infrastructure can be on the cloud, can be in some data center, dedicated data center, or it can be on your office shore or floor also. So it's on premise. So it can be anywhere. Okay. So it can be anywhere. It can be on premise. It can be on the cloud. It can be on the data center. Now it is a collection of all the servers, like an LDAP server, email server, web server, database servers, your DNS server, DHCP server, Samba server, network gears, switches, routers, and so on. So it's a collection of all the stuff. Now, as an administrator, what we are doing as an admin, we are going to manage this infrastructure. So basically, who needs to admin? So we need an administrator who need to go and manage that, all the stuff. Now, there are individual administrator. What is like we say Linux administrator, we say storage administrator. Then we have virtualization administrator, VMware expert, and so on, right? So we have many people who are contributing in the infrastructure and managing the infrastructure, and they are working along the line. But what happened due to the course of the line? we are spending a lot of manual efforts to build the infrastructure. We have a lot of manual efforts to go with the infrastructure. Let's take an example. Let's say I want to install one Tomcat server with the application. So what I will do, first I will go with the OS. On top of that, I will install Java. On top of that, I will install Tomcat. And on top of that, I will install the application. Now, when I'm doing all these activities, I am going with the manual work. That means taking the package, taking the Java, Tomcat, and application. Now, once you are going with that, it will take around, if you a person is a fresher, he may take 3 to 4 hours to install those things. If he's a good person, intermediate, he may take 2 hours. If he's an expert, he will take 1 hour to install and fine tune and all the stuff. But organization says that, hey, if you are going to do the same thing again, why you are going with the manual way? Why you cannot do in an automated way? So if you go with the automated way, you will do all these things within 10 minutes. Within 10 minutes. Not only one server, but you can spin up nearly hundreds and thousands of servers in 10 minutes. Now, how it is possible? This is only possible due to the automation and due to the automated tools. Now, when you go to the real time in the organization, the developers will never have access to the production infrastructure. So developer will not have the visibility. Who will do that? Admin are supposed to work on the infrastructure and help the developer to set up the tools and practices. So what happens when developer is talking, he is saying something Java, he is saying something like build, he is saying something like Ant or a Nexus or a Maven or something like that. He is talking, keep on talking with that. And he is talking about delivery, he is talking about deployment. We don't know all those stuff. So a normal administrator will not know all these things. So what organization says, hey, they will pick up the person from the infrastructure and they will make the person sit in between the developer and the infrastructure. And this person is called as a combination of a developer and the infrastructure, which is we called as an operation. So we will say ops. So we will say this is an operation. So the person who can understand the language of the developer and who can understand the language of the infrastructure, he will be calling as a DevOps. So DevOps is not a Linux technology. DevOps is not a storage technology. DevOps is not a virtual technology, but the person who understands the language of the developer and the operations. Okay. Now, what is the role? His main role is to do the automation. What is that automation? Infrastructure automation is the primary role for the DevOps. Now, there are many people who came from the background saying that, hey, I am a tester, I am going from the QA, I am going as a normal admin. Is it going to benefit for me? Of course, it will definitely going to help you. Why? Because it will not only help you to get the better job, but it will also enhance your skills. Now, what are the skills you will go and develop? You will go and have the skills of the automation. The skills of automation to create the infrastructure. Now, DevOps has many branches, many sub-branches. We say DevOps infrastructure. We say DevOps tester. We say DevOps development. And testing is also including the QA part. So it will go with that. Right? So DevOps has a many branches, sub-branches, we can say there. Now, it depends on the organization. If the organization is big, they will make this person as a separate units, business units, and they will work. But if the organization is a small organization, now when I say organization is small organization, it may have 50 computers or less computers. So it is a small organization. If it has a 100 plus server to like 1,000 servers, we say mid organization. And large organization says that is a big organization. Okay. So when I'm working in my organization is a large organization. We have nearly 15,000 plus servers, and we have nearly 25 DevOps engineers who are consistently working to go with the 24/7 operation. So you can imagine that basically you are working on the larger scale of the server and you have to manage the infrastructure using automated way. You see, automated way. Now, who can join the DevOps? With our course, what we are trying to achieve, let's go and understand that. So we say that you don't need to have any knowledge of programming, because we will teach the programming aspects in our course. That we will teach you the basics of the programming with the shell scripting part, which is a very important and core item of your automation. So you will go and you will learn with that. Secondly, we said you don't need to have a knowledge of Linux, because we are going to cover the nitty-gritties of the Linux, the basics of the Linux. Now, why we are going for the Linux? Because 80% of the market uses Linux servers. They want to go for the free servers. They don't want to pay anything, and you will able to go along with that. Now, you can go along with that, and who can join? The freshers or experienced people can jump into this wagon. So I'll say, we can say criteria or qualification or criteria to join DevOps. Okay, so you can go along with that. So no programming knowledge needed, no Linux knowledge needed. You either can be a fresher, you can be experienced. If you are the fresher person, you can confidently go for the 2+ years of experience, saying that, hey, you have working with some other technology, now you want to go along with that. With our course, we say that you can confidently go for the 2+ years of experience. Now, what you can achieve with that, or what are the tools which we are going to cover? We are going to cover some tools from various aspects. That means now we have the developer side, we have the user side, we are covering some tools. So we are going to go, let's go and review our tools, that what tools we are going to cover. Number one tool we are going to talk about is the Linux, because it's the base of our whole infrastructure. Second thing, we are talking about shell scripting. Then we are going to talk about a very good aspect of your Git, which is the revision control, SCM, source code management system. Then we are going to cover the automation tool, which is called as a Chef. Then we are going to cover the tools which is called as a Vagrant, which is also a very good automation tool for the development environment. Then we are going to work on the Docker side, which is...
Sorry to interrupt, Sunil. Chef and Puppet both are same?
Yes. Chef, Puppet, Ansible, and the Salt Stack. These are the tools which are in the same wagon. That means they are in the same category. So let's say we will talk about that. Okay, give me a moment.
Yeah.
We are going to cover about the Jenkins, and then Maven, and the Nexus repository tools. So we are going to talk about that. We are going to cover on the LAMP part. LAMP is the base of your infrastructure, which is the Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. So you'll also learn on that. We will also talk on the monitoring side, and we are going to cover the tool called as a Nagios. We will get introduction with the Nagios, that what you do, how you do monitoring with that part in our session there. And lastly, we will assign you the project where you need to demonstrate all the skills, and you need to work, and you need to integrate all these tools in an efficient manner, right? So these are all the things we are going to cover with that. Now let's go and see what are the parallel things. So we are going to cover in Linux, we will say CentOS, because we are going for the full-fledged version. So there are parallel versions are there, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, or Ubuntu is there. And you have Windows operating system. So whatever the tools we are talking about, these tools all works on Windows platform, except the shell script. In the shell script, it will only work on Linux, but of course you can learn another script which is called as a PowerShell. And PowerShell is the tool or a script which you can work on the Windows also. Okay, then there are parallel tools for the Git. You have SVN, you have ClearCase, you have Perforce and so on. There are a lot of tools, parallel tools are there. And with the Chef, you have a lot of parallel tools called as a Puppet, Ansible, SaltStack, and so on. There are a lot of tools along with that area. Vagrant, there is no parallel tool. Docker. So Docker is is a containerization. So there are a lot of tools near to the Docker, and they are in the AIX and Solaris and so on. Jenkins has a lot of different flavors. You can say Hudson or Bamboo and TeamCity and so on. Right? Linux has a parallel version. You can say as a Nginx and so on. You can build your own stuff. You can have Tomcat, and you can have a lot of stuff there. Along with the monitoring, there are a lot of monitoring tools are available. Cacti, then Zabbix, Xenos, and so on. So you have a lot of tools are available. Now, when people are coming from different backgrounds, we have chosen these as a base level. Now, why we have the base level? So somebody says, hey, if you are covering Chef, why you are not covering Puppet, Ansible, SaltStack, or so on? So we say that, okay, you know how to drive a two-wheeler. Let's say you know how to drive a two-wheeler. Then if you go to the other city and you take your friend's bike on the other city, which is a different make and model, how much time it will take to learn that new bike? So hardly it will take 10 to 15 minutes to learn that bike, and you can start with that. Similarly, when you learn the Chef, if you understand the good understanding of the Chef, you can easily learn these tools like Puppet or Ansible within 5 to 7 days, not more than that. So you can go by yourself. You can go by yourself. That way, it will go along the line there. Now, with that say, you will say that, okay, but how I will find the time to learn that tool? If I see the requirement saying that, hey, all these requirements are there, but they are looking for the Puppet. So when you go to the interview, you can say that, hey, I am confident about Chef. I know the Chef technology, and I can easily learn the other technology. And during your notice period, you can easily learn that technology. During the notice period, you can easily learn. You have like 30 days notice period or like a 2-month notice period. In that, you should learn the technology, and you can jump to the side of the DevOps there. So with that say, we can say that how many tools are there in the DevOps? In real time, there are nearly 1,000+ tools are there. Now it is not possible to cover all these tools in the class. Also, it is not feasible for you to give the heavy dose of all the tools, and it is not necessary to learn all the tools at all. That's why we have gone with this base items, which is the Linux, Shell, Git, Chef, Vagrant, Docker, Jenkins, and so on. So if you know this, you are fundamentally very strong in the DevOps. You don't need any other tool as the starting point. But don't hesitate to apply for the technologies for Puppet, Hudson, Bamboo, TeamCity, or some other technology. You can say that, hey, I know this technology, and I can easily adopt this technology. Because it is not recommended to start learning just 1,000 tools, then you will stuck in the class itself. You will never go into the real time. You will never go to the job there, right? And company to company, the requirements keep on changing. So what we are trying to do, we are trying to cover the important and at the most important base for the DevOps there. Okay. So any question at this point of time?
Sunil, this is Rahul. I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah, not related to the tools, but as part of the course, do you cover AWS concepts also?
Okay, so that's a good question. So what I will recommend, so the question is from the online, the people who are in the session, in the class, the question is that, are we covering anything related with the AWS, or I will cover more ground, I will say Azure, we will talk about Google Cloud, and so on, right? So basically we are talking about the cloud, the technology. So we will introduce the AWS or Azure or Google, but we are not going to cover the cloud technology. Now, why I'm saying so? Because whatever tools you are learning in the DevOps, you can install them in the standalone machine. You can install in your on-premise. You can install in your data center and also in the cloud. Okay. So cloud is altogether ball game. Then somebody says that, okay, if you are teaching AWS, then why you're not teaching Azure? Then why you're not going for the Google or something like that, right? So we are not covering the AWS, Azure, or Google at this point, but we'll introduce that. And second thing, what I want to bring to your notice that we have the course for this 45 days course. So total, we are taking 45 days to cover all these items. We are not going to have the session on weekends, that is Saturday and Sunday. So it is expected that you will do the practice on that. But I have a strong suggestion and recommendation that during these 45 days, you can work parallelly on the one of the cloud technology. You should at least learn one of the cloud technology, and you can do it by self-learning also. So you can watch some videos, you can have some, and you have the course we are offering with the AWS. You can jump on that course, and you can take the course there, right? So we are introducing that, but we are not going in the full flesh with the AWS or Azure or Google or any cloud technology. So my recommendation or request is, AWS is giving 750 hours of free. They are giving 750 free hours of material. That means you can create your own account. You can, like a Google Gmail account, you can create your own account, and they will give you 750 hours of free of hours. That means you can spin up machines, you can start the VMs, you can delete the VMs, you can use their technology for 750 hours. With the Azure, they are giving nearly $300 of worth package. That means when you join the Azure, they will give $300 worth of package. That means you can use any technology beneath the Azure cloud, and you can work with that. Same thing around with the Google cloud. Same thing around with the Google. Now there are various clouds technology available. Rackspace is giving, and IBM is giving, and so many technologies. So you have a lot of free like cloud technologies available at your stake. Because you are a learner, you don't want to spend some money on that. Because every machine, when you start, you will have to pay some money. Every storage device you attach, you have to pay some money. But if you don't want to do that, you can go along with the 750 hours worth of free kind of thing. Or if you want to materialize that, it is nearly around $300 of things you are able to get that. Okay. So hopefully that answer your question. Okay, so one question is from Funny, that are we doing a code coverage tool? Unfortunately, no, because I said that there are hundreds and thousands of tools. We may not able to fit those all tools in the timeline. So unfortunately, we are not covering the code coverage tool in that. So hope that answered your question, Funny. And one more question is there, like Kapil, how long each session is going to be? Okay, so the session length is approximately 2 hours. So it will take nearly from 1 hour to 2 hours. So depending upon the depth, depending upon the subject, we are going to go along with that length. So approximately each session is of the 2 hour session. So it's a heavy session. And I'm requesting all of you that don't miss any sessions, because one session depends on the other session. So then again, it will take some time to cope up with the session. So if you are attending the session, please be joined at a regular time and go with the regular sessions, because those fundamentals, once we started working with that, it will help you to develop your knowledge, and it's like a building block. So if we miss one block, it will take a little bit time to cope up with that. So I will request go with that. So session time is like 7:30 a.m. IST. And Lavanya. Okay, so one question is from Lavanya. So sessions will be every day, right? Along with the weekend? No. The session will only be from the Monday to Friday. Weekend, you need to practice the sessions, and you need to, that we are giving the homeworks, and it's expected that you should do your homework, and you should be able to cope up with all the material and the homework during the weekend. And by Monday, you need to submit your homework online and you should be able to do that. So that's why we are not covering any weekends, because we want to give some breathing time and cope up time for all the stuff. Now, another question is from Gaurav. Hey, from when the actual course is going to start? Not the weekends, right? Yes, so not on the weekend. So our course definitely is going to start from Monday. So Monday 12th is the first class we will going to have, and till time we will go along with whatever the questions or anything that you are looking for. You can talk to the number given for any other queries. On the screen you can see that the contact number is, I will repeat for the people who are sitting in the class. So the contact number I will paste on the screen. That way it will help to understand or go with any query related with the course and stuff. So this is the contact number. Please contact on this number. Okay, so if you have any questions or concerns, please go with that, and you can go along. Okay, good. And I believe there are a couple of more questions. Let's go and see that. So I am expecting at least 1 or 2 sessions on AWS concept at the end of the course. Unfortunately, I will say again no and no, and I'm humbly sorry for that. Why I'm saying? Because we have a separate course for AWS, and I will request that please join the in-depth course. With 1 or 2 sessions may not help you to get the good understanding of the AWS part. So I'm humbly requesting you that I understand you're eager and your passion for learning, but 1 or 2 sessions may not help to cover the AWS or cloud part. So definitely in introduction, you will get the much better understanding. But when you go for the real time, they will ask some questions about AWS. So you should be able to answer those. So I will humbly request that you will go for our another course, which is for the AWS, and you can cover that concept there. So I humbly request to join that. Okay, another question is that can we join the both sessions simultaneously, that AWS and the DevOps? Of course, you can join that, because these technologies are different. These concepts are different. So you can say as your AWS is like having a computer, and DevOps is like installing some software on the computer. So computer is different and the DevOps is different. So definitely these are the different, but they are woven together so that using automation, you can create some virtual machines or some machines automatically in the cloud. But definitely you can join both the sessions simultaneously. Okay. Okay. Hope that answered your question. And one question is from the Gaurav that most people don't have Linux OS. How they will practice? Okay. So to answer to that question, definitely we will teach you how to install the OS, how to go with the basics of the OS, how to create the users and account. And that is why in our session, we are giving a good emphasis on Linux part, because that is your bread and butter, because you are going to spin up a lot of Linux machines during your course. Either it is in your own laptop, or you can go with the cloud and you can spin up those machines. So we are going to teach you each and every nitty-gritty about how to work with the Linux OS, what to do with the Linux OS, and how you can cope up with that knowledge. Now, with the saying that, so that's why I say don't miss any sessions, because these are the building blocks, and whatever we have given as an order, we will try to follow the same order while we are working with the technology. So that way, it will help you to go along with that.
Hello. Hi, this is
Yeah,
Kapil here. So
yeah, Kapil.
actually, I just wanted to say that all the sessions will be taken by you only. So
Yes.
you know what happens in most of the classes, like people comes from the different tool for different tools like puppets. Some experts will come and they'll teach you, and for another tool some other guys will come and they'll teach you. So like that, I was just asking, all this
Okay,
will be
okay.
taken by you only or someone
Yes,
else?
yes. So all the session is taken by me itself. So you don't have to worry that you will have the same person all the time available for your help, and you will ask any kind of questions on any other tool. So definitely I will answer those questions for you there.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so the people who are sitting in the class, the question was that I'm only the person who is going to teach all the tools, or there are different people who will come and teach the sessions. So the answer for that is yes, I am only the person who is going to have all the sessions from start to end. Okay, thanks for Kapil for the clarification. Any other questions you have? So I will request to ask as many as questions, because this is the right forum. This is the right time to clarify your doubts. Because once you jump in, you have to go through the 45 days. And I will say 45 days is a very short period. 45 days is a very short period that you have to go with. And as there are a lot of tools and technologies you need to learn, because some people are freshers, some people are like expertise, but they may have expertise in different area, not on all the tools. So definitely we have to spend a good quality time on each item, and that's why I will put a humble request that please do not miss any session, because each session we will have a very in-depth understanding. Okay, another question is there. Okay, can you elaborate something about the project and what we are going to do with it? Okay, very good question. So basically in the project, what we are going to do, we are going to automate the infrastructure, and we are going to cover a full cycle using all these tools. Now we are working on these tools in the silo mode. That means individual tools. Now the whole activity of the DevOps is to integrate all these tools together and automate the entire infrastructure. Automate the entire infrastructure. That is what is the aim of this whole project. That means you will integrate and you will build the flow that, hey, the information is, let's say the information is stored in the Git as a revision control. It will pass to the Jenkins, then it will go and woven with the Maven. It will stored on the Nexus. It was implemented on the LAMP under the session of Vagrant and Docker. And
Sorry, Sunil, I have one quick question. Sorry to interrupt you. All are these, whatever you discussed, all are the open source or like proprietary tools?
Okay. So sorry, I may know who is speaking.
Giri here.
Giri here. Giri here, give me 1 second. Let me finish the first question. Definitely, I will answer your question. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So basically, with the project that we are going to interwoven all this fabric, and we should have a common thread between all the tools. That means the flow of information from one tool to other tool should be seamless. That means when the developers will create the code in the Git, that code should be automatically go into the Jenkins and the Maven and the Nexus. Then it should automatically go into the LAMP stack. It will automatically should spin up the machines under the Vagrant and Docker, right? So whole project is to automate the infrastructure using these tools. That is what is the overall aspects that you are going to work, and we will go under the project. So hope that answer your question, Abhilash. To answer the other questions, that are these tools are the open source tools or any are the proprietary tools? So we are going to deal with all the open source tools. We are going to deal with all open source tools. You can freely download in the market, and you can practice them at home without any cost, right? So you can install in your laptop, you can install in the cloud machines, you can install in your data center. Wherever you are working, you can download it, you can install, you can configure and use it free of cost. So all tools are open source, and we are going to work with the open source there.
One more quick question.
Sure.
This is Giri. It's depend upon the project. We need to implement some of the tools, whatever you discuss, right? Not for all we need to implement. Where exactly we need, as per the requirement, we need to customize and we need to like work accordingly, right?
Okay, so let me repeat that question for the people who are there in the session. The question is that are we going to use all the tools, or are we going to use these tools on the need basis? So basically, we are going to use all these tools on the need basis. It is not a compulsory in the organization that you have to use all of them. But as a DevOps engineer, you should have the basic and understanding of all these tools, because we are taking these tools from each category, and you should able to aware that, okay, when I'm thinking about source code management, this is what is the category I'm expecting to work on. So we are introducing all the tools. We are getting configuration, installation of all the tools. We are going with the project with all the tools. But in real time, it may not be necessary to go with all the tools. But I will request that don't take any subject as an optional subject, because in our case, each subject is depend on one on the other, right? So it's all are interdependent to each other. If you say, okay, I don't know Linux, I will skip the Linux, then you're not able to understand shell scripting. If you skip the shell scripting, then you'll not able to understand Chef, Vagrant, Docker, because most of the part you will go with that. If you say that, okay, I don't want to go with the Vagrant or something, then you will miss the Jenkins, Maven, and Nexus or something like that. So all the tools are interdependent, and each category you should be able to understand what is the category, what are the different things in the category. So don't take them as an optional thing. Don't take them as a optional thing. You have to learn all of the tools, because these are the basic tools. These are the base tools, at least to start to work with the DevOps administration.
Yeah, my question is whether we need to just automatically run the scripts, or we need to develop as a tester.
So, okay, the question is that do you want to develop the script as a developer, or do you want to develop the script as a tester or as a something? So, yes, your question. So, we have seen that there are various layers in the DevOps. So if you are on the infrastructure side, you don't have to much do on that. You need to only work with the Chef, Puppet, Ansible, and you need to write some shell script to do the automation. But if you are in the testing, definitely you need to work on the testing side. You need to write some scripts on the testing side also. Okay. And if you are working on the development side, definitely you will also need to work on the development side. So our focus is to give the basic understanding of the DevOps from the infrastructure side. So with that understanding, you can easily adopt the testing side as well as the development side under the DevOps part.
Sir, one more small question. Sorry to interrupt you. As a DevOps tester, we need to write some scripts, and as well as we need to run the batch scripts, all these things, something like, right?
Yes. As a tester, yes, you need to do couple of more activities. Yes, definitely.
What are the roles usually? What are the activities usually will do the DevOps tester? Last question, sir.
So, see, I will say that when we are focusing on the part, we are not focusing on the testing or the QA or the development part. Basically, we are focusing on the infrastructure side, right? Because testing has all the automation testing. You have Selenium, you have manual testing, and so on, right? Yes. So if you are the expertise in the testing area, they will ask you to automate all the tools. Let's say you want to install Selenium. Now, how will you install the Selenium? They can say that, hey, install the Selenium using the Chef or Puppet. So that kind of automation, you need to go with that. Okay. So basically, you are preparing the infrastructure for all the developers, testers, quality people, and the production people. So your base role is a focus totally on the infrastructure side. I'll again say your first focus is on the infrastructure side. That's the infrastructure automation. That is what we talked about. So we are talking about the infrastructure automation. Now, infrastructure automation, that is what is the role. Now, let's go and understand what is the role we can say. So roles and responsibility. So whatever the roles and responsibility as a engineer, you can go along with that. Number one, automation. Whatever manual things you are doing, you have to do the automation either via Chef or via script or via any other method. Okay. Or you can do your tools like Selenium or these that you can do automation with that, testing automation and so on. Second thing, you are going to do the management of the infrastructure. So you'll say management. but via automation. Again, via automation. You are going to do all the infrastructure. That means you are spinning up the server, you are installing some applications, you are installing the packages, you are monitoring the system. This is all you will do with the automation. Scheduling automatic backup. You need to restore backup automatically. Restore of backup automatically. So whatever things you are doing manually, you need to convert all those things into the way of automation. So whatever the things you are doing manually, you need to go on the automation. But on the infrastructure side, again and again saying, we are going for the infrastructure automation. That means we are building the base building block for the developers, for the testers, for the QA people, for the production environment, on which the people will go and work on those tools. Those people will not install the tools, those people will not install and configure the tools. But as a DevOps engineer, we will do all the activity, but with automation. And we called them as a special word is there, IaaC, which is called as infrastructure as a code. So you are going to work on the infrastructure as a code, and you will write a code to automate the infrastructure. That is what is the meaning of that. Okay, so that is the meaning of the DevOps part. Okay.
Yeah, all will work in cloud only. All whatever we are doing, all the activities.
Okay, so the question is that everything we are going to work in the cloud only? No, it's not. DevOps can be run in your laptop, in your on-premise server, on your data center, or in the cloud. Anywhere you can use the DevOps practices. There is no boundaries for that. Okay, hope that answered your question. I have another question. As a developer, what would be the role in the DevOps and the tools needed? Okay, so basically you need to go with the same tool. There is no different tools. But now as a developer, you have to develop and test the recipes or playbooks or manifests. In different language, it says different. In Puppet, we say manifests. In Ansible, we say playbook. In the Chef, we say as a cookbooks. So what you need to do as a DevOps, you need to go along with these all the tools, and you need to write the cookbooks. You need to write the shell script to automate all the stuff. And again, Shirisha, the question is that what tools you needed. So these are all the tools what you are going to work along with that. So these tools you need to focus and integrate as a part of the DevOps. The same tool set you will go and you will work on the cloud also. There is no separate tools are there. Same tools you are going to work with the cloud. One more question here that from Gaurav, what is the scope of this profile in India? So it has a very good profile scope in India. There is a very good scope for this profile in India. Why? So this is a very good question. Let's understand that question. Why DevOps is getting popular? It is from the 2007, 2008 we are doing the practices. But why it is popular now? Why it is popular now? The main reason behind the popularity is that organizations don't want people to do the mundane task, manual work. They want that manual work should be reduced and more scope is given to the automation. Now, as a matter of practice, I will say that in our organizations, we have that 15,000 servers. And of course, the 15,000 servers cannot be managed by the people who are sitting in the US. And they always need a person as a counterpart. And India is the best country to fit as a counterpart. And you can support from here as a DevOps engineer. And you can all maintain, manage, and configure and install the infrastructure sitting in India. So what organization looking? They are removing the people who are having the individual skills. And they are hiring more people with the DevOps skills. The reason behind is very simple, that as a normal engineer, let's say compare with the mobile. If you go to the market, you will not take the old Nokia mobile phone. Why? Because it only works as a phone. It doesn't have WhatsApp, it doesn't have Google Chat and so on. And if you go with the new phone in the market, it will nearly about the same price. You will get the smartphone. And why you will go for the smartphone? Because of its features. And what are the more features? It supports more and more tools, more and more applications. So that's why You are going for the more tools, more CPU, more RAM, more storage. That is what you are looking, more good camera, having high megapixel, having octa-core or quad-core or whatever stuff. You are going with that. Why? As you are upgrading your mobiles, same the way organizations are upgrading the engineers. Either they retrain their engineers or they will rehire the new engineer in place of the original engineers. So if you want to be in the wagon of the IT automation, you need to be a part of the DevOps. Otherwise, there is a very difficult future or dark future in near time, because individual administrator has no roles in the organization. Everybody is looking for the scope of the DevOps and automation there. So this is what you will see, and there is a lot of scope in India. So the question is, I believe, is a different. I give it that. So what is the scope of this profile in India means? Could you please give examples? Few companies in Hyderabad. There are a lot of companies in Hyderabad. They hire the people, but they will hire the people not for India companies. They will hire the people for the US companies. Okay. So basically, if you want to get the good paying job, India is not giving the good paying job at the moment. So if you want a daytime job, then it is a challenging thing. But if you are already in US or you are willing to work in the different time zones, you can definitely work for that. Now, some people say, but do I need to do the night shifts? So the answer is no. The answer is no, because DevOps is not a day-to-day routine activity. It is for the building automation. And once you build the automation, you will transfer the automation as a form of infrastructure as a code, and it should take care by itself. So you don't have to work in the night shift. Okay. But of course, you need to have some extended hours or overlapping hours with the other countries like Australia, UK, or US. But India, if you are working with the companies in Hyderabad, there are a lot of companies they are hiring. Currently, Accenture is hiring DevOps people, IBM hiring DevOps people. Of course, they are also firing people who are not having the right skill set. So you may have seen in the recent market there is a lot of layouts are there. And the prime reason for the layoff is either the people are like a very top position, or the people are having not right skill set and right mindsets for the DevOps. So that's why they are going to have the rehiring. That means they are laying off the people who are not having the right skills and the mindset, but they are getting the people in the stuff there. So Accenture is hiring, IBM is hiring. Then there are a lot of small companies are there, like net and rich companies there. They are hiring. So I can give a lot of company names that those people are hiring in India. And TCS is recently started hiring with the DevOps because they now understood that in the market there are a lot of people need. Recently, I have seen that Wipro, with our pass out students from the DevOps batch, they got jobs in Wipro. One got a job in TCS with like a high pay scales. One got job in the Accenture, and one got a job in the Dell. So definitely, people are very good hiring is there. But only thing is that please learn these tools and go with these tools.
Sir,
Don't try to do.
sorry to interrupt, scope about the product-based companies, you have been telling about services companies only. Is there any scope for product-based companies?
Good questions. Of course. Who hire these service companies? The product-based company itself. The question is, I have told whatever thing is about the service-based industries, because Infosys, Accenture, these are the like this service-based industries. But Oracle is not much service-based. So Oracle has nearly about 150 plus DevOps engineers at the right moment, and they're still hiring the people with the right mindset and right skill set, because Oracle is a product-based company. I'm giving only the top names because you know the top name. That's why I'm getting the top name. But there are a lot of small companies which do the hiring for the product base, because for the product base, it is the bread and butter. And who will hire the DevOps? Either the product-based companies or the service-based companies. There is no other field or sector in IT. So you have to do the production, and to support the production, you need to have the service staff. So of course, DevOps is needed from both end for the product-based companies as well as service-oriented companies.
Sir, one
So-
more thing. US, my friends are working in ServiceNow, ClickNow. Those are the DevOps tools, right?
So I'm not sure about your friends, but definitely when you go with the US market, you can search the sites. You can see that a lot of requirements are for the DevOps in those companies there. Even OpenStack or your cloud stack or AWS people are looking heavily for the DevOps people, because AWS is itself is on top of DevOps. Google is itself top of the DevOps. Your Facebook itself is on top of DevOps. So all these infrastructure which are running on the DevOps platform. So everybody needs the DevOps. And what is the future? Next 15 years, you don't have to worry about your job, because once you get the expertise in these tools, definitely once you enter in the market, you will able to have a good chance to go further. And the next 15 years, then you can be enjoy the benefits of all the DevOps plus. So which said that we will break the session here.